Well, the children at the moment are the teachers are trying to tell them about how to take care of the community and nature. And so they asked me to come here and give a talk. So I explained to them where dogs originally came from, and that basically all animals need the same things that they do: food, water, love, a doctor when they're sick, and to feel safe and secure. And I think if you can make children understand that animals need exactly the same things that they do, then you're halfway to fighting the battle of cruelty and animal neglect that we see all around us every day.
These are very young children, only 4 to 6 years old. Do you think they really understand about the importance of dogs in the community, their problems as well, I mean serious problems?
They maybe don't fully understand, but they all live here, so they all see dogs on the street that are unwanted and hungry. And I think this is why I try to relate to their needs as being the same as the animals' needs, because they understand that they get hungry, they understand that they get thirsty, they understand that when they're upset they want a cuddle from mum. So if you can make them understand that animals feel exactly the same, I think you're on the way just to sow the seeds to let them know that animals feel the same as we do.
We hope that perhaps they will also convey these feelings to their parents, to mainly Thai parents.
I seriously do. This is why I've given them all a book, because it tells the story of Princess Sausage. Nick has very kindly donated as many books as I need for my education programme. Normally it's in schools of 13, 14-year-olds. So yeah, this is a first for me, which is, these teachers have my utter admiration for what they do, seriously.
We talked to Nick a couple of years ago. That was the book about the dog he found on Surin Beach, wasn't it?
That's right. The Princess Sausage, yes. And she now lives with Nick and has a very nice life. But she was thrown away like so many others. She's one of the lucky ones. It's a bit like Pancake here. She was thrown away. She now lives at the Soi Dog shelter because there's nowhere else for her to go.
Let's just have a look at Pancake while you're talking about her. Tell us a bit more about her history and how old she is and what's like.
Pancake is round about 3 years of age. She's a mixed breed, just an ordinary Thai dog. She was found in Qatar with 5 puppies laying in the gutter. She was total skin and bone. She had no energy. She couldn't even stand. The puppies were trying to feed from her, but obviously she had no milk. So we brought her up to the shelter. We fed her up. She started producing milk. She turned out to be an absolutely wonderful mum. And her 5 puppies were adopted, but she was with us so long getting herself right again that we couldn't put her back on the street. She'd been with us too long. She would not have been accepted by the other dogs who lived around there. When they've been away too long, they get into fights and all sorts of things.
Is she still living at the shelter, or has she been adopted?
No, she lives at the shelter now, but if anybody would like to adopt Pancake, she's a beautiful, beautiful dog. Another 200 like her as well.
Obviously very good with kids, is that why you brought her?
Yes, she's very, very good with all human beings. Yeah, she found it a bit overwhelming here because of the noise today, but she is a dog that I use with children because I can trust her 110%. I would say 90% of our dogs at the shelter would make fantastic pets. The other 10% are still too frightened of human beings because of the things that they've gone through. But no, yeah, we've got dogs of all shapes, sizes that are all wonderful.
Well, let's talk about the other puppy. He's asleep at the moment, so yeah. John's going to maybe pick him up, but sleeping. Tell us about her. She was found at one of the shopping centres. Yeah?
I went to Tesco at Churntulay, and I could see a load of Thai people around a shopping trolley, and I could hear this dreadful screaming coming from the shopping trolley. I went over and she was in the trolley. Somebody had thrown her away in the trolley. She was absolutely terrified, shaking from head to foot. I picked her up and took her home with me. It took me about 5 days to get her to eat properly and not to be scared anymore, but I've since found a home for her, which is great. I'll be fostering her for 3 months because the guy who's taking her, where he lives now, they're not allowed to have dogs, so he's moving house so we can have her. So yeah, a good story, but we've got another 12 puppies at the shelter, all desperately looking for homes. So there's too many of them around.
John, let's bring you in here. The shelter, how's it going? We've seen you when you first started there. We went back again a year after. I know you've had problems with the land, trying to get money to buy the land, haven't you now, yeah?
Yeah, I wouldn't say problems. It was a decision we took earlier in the year that the land that presently is on a lease, and obviously it would be beneficial for us to have a centre which we own outright, and there's a permanent future for taking care of these animals, and gives us a centre as well to carry on our operations of sterilising. So we started an appeal in June to buy what is a part of the land, not all of it at this stage, and to raise 7.6 million by the end of October. That's going very well, and we will reach that target, we're very confident, by the end of October. In fact, the lawyers are drawing the contracts up now. So
what about the other part then? You're still renting, right? But that's the problem, isn't it? That if one day it might just disappear.
No, the thing is, the part of the land we've bought, there's enough free land on that, so we're taking the rest of the land on a 10-year lease. We have a two-year option to buy it at an agreed price, which we might well do if all goes well. However, should that land suddenly not become available, we have enough room on what we will buy to, in effect, construct a new clinic on that area of land, which is the main building on the land that we'll be still renting. All the shelters are on the land that we're buying.
Is it still a good location? I mean, you're way up past the airport, Mai Khao area.
It has its advantages and disadvantages. Obviously, you can't have a dog shelter with 200 plus dogs in the middle of Phuket town. It's going to cause a few problems with the neighbours, to say the least. So where it is quiet. It's quiet location. The disadvantages, of course, is that when you've got dogs and puppies you're wanting to rehome, there's not a great populace around the area. So it means people actually coming and finding us, rather than if we had in the middle of Phuket town, we could do that. But that's one of the things we're looking at in the coming few months. We are planning a lot of changes, a lot of expansion, and looking at actually having adoption days and an outlet maybe more in the centre of the island.